Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. I'm your host, Elisha Collins, and today we'll be discussing an important topic: why are animal shelters important on Prince Edward Island, Canada? Eunice Moline is joining me today, who has recently completed research on this issue. Thank you for being here today, Eunice. We are grateful to have you here.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. I am very happy to be here and able to talk about something that I really care about.
Great. So let's start with the basics. What is an animal shelter?
An animal shelter is a place that provides temporary care for animals that are maybe lost, abandoned, surrendered, or a rescue from unsafe places. They also provide food, water, medical care, and a safe place for animals to stay until they find their homes or they find their forever homes.
Interesting. So, why do you think animal shelters are important on Prince Edward Island, Canada?
I would say because they help animals that have nowhere else to go. Because, not every pet has a loving home. Some animals become lost while some are surrendered because their owners can no longer take care of them. And without shelters, many of these animals would be left to survive on their own.
Hmm. So, what are some reasons people surrender their pets?
Oh my, there are so many. But one of the biggest reasons is financial difficulties. The cost of pet foods, veterinary care, and other supplies has increased over the years. Some families might also move into places that doesn't allow any pets at all. And others may experience major life changes, such as illness, job loss, or maybe having a new member in the family, can make um, which can make the taking care of the pet more difficult.
Mm-hmm. So, gosh, that sounds really challenging for both the owners and the animals.
Yeah, it is. Well, most people do not surrender their pets because they want to. Like, of course, they would love to keep them, but it's usually often they don't have any other choice. So that's really why shelters are important in our island because they are able to provide safe place when they needed a place to stay.
Mm-hmm. So, during your research that you did you learn about any challenges that the PEI Humane Society faces right now?
Oh, of course. Actually, one of the major challenges is overcrowding. In recent years, 2021, there was a lot of animals that was entering the shelters. And when there are too many animals, there is not enough space that can create stress for both the animals and the staff because it gets very busy. So shelters have to work very hard to provide proper care for every animals that comes through their doors.
Mm-hmm. So, in that case, how does overcrowding affects the animals?
That can lead to stress. When it is crowded, dogs may bark more, and some animals may become very anxious. Just like having a decent size of an aquarium for a specific fish, they need to have at least a bigger space for them. And
Mm-hmm.
shelters do their best to make the animals comfortable, right? But having enough space is very important for their well being.
Right. So, besides providing shelter for the animals, what other services do animal shelters offer?
It usually comes with medical care, vaccination, spaying services, and behavior
Mm-hmm.
supports. They also help to track lost pets with their owners and educate the public about responsible for being an owner.
Hmm. Well, that's a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, of course. Many people only think that shelters is just a place where an animal could stay, but really it's for both animals and the communities.
Wow, this is a new one, but let's talk about adoption. Why is adoption important?
That is a good question. Um, well, it gives animals a new place because many shelters animals are a loving pet that simply need a new home. When someone adopts an animal, they are not only helping that pet, but they are also creating space for another animal that might come to the shelter.
So, what would you say to someone thinking about getting a pet?
I'd probably talk to them and tell them about the responsibilities about owning a pet, because obviously it is almost like taking care of a child. You need to provide them food, exercise, medical care, affection, and a pet can be part of your family for so many years, and it needs you need to be prepared when bringing one home.
Hmm. So, that is a great advice. So, that you're going to know like the disadvantages and the advantages of getting a pet, right? So, what was the most surprising thing that you have learned while researching this topic?
Um, I'd say the most surprising thing that I've learned was how much shelter staff and volunteers do behind the scenes. Because honestly, in my perspective, when I have not did my research yet, I just thought they just take care of them, feed them, um, make sure they have the medical care they need. But then they also organize adoption, provide education, and raise funds, and work hard to improve animal welfare across Prince Edward Island.
Hmm. So, if there were no animal shelters on PI, what do you think would happen?
I would say animals would suffer a lot. Like more pets would ended up being homeless, and there would be fewer resources available to help them. Shelter also provides safety net for animals when they need it, and without them, many animals would not have any second chance of having another family.
Hmm. Okay, but before we finish, what is the biggest message you want listeners to remember?
Ooh, I really want people to remember that animals depend on us for care and protection. Animal shelters are important because they give animals hope, safety, and opportunity to find loving homes. Supporting local shelters through donation, volunteering, or adoption can make a huge difference in animals' life.
Mhm. That's a very wonderful message, Eunice. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing what you learned.
Yeah, that's no problem. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking about this topic.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone listening. We hope you learned something new about why animal shelters are so important on Prince Edward Island, Canada. If you're thinking about getting a pet, consider adopting from a local shelter. Until next time, take care and have a great day.